Nowadays, we live in a time where efficiency and being fast is king, no matter how much we try to dethrone it. Because, as the saying goes, time is money. But what I found was that slowing down was much more fulfilling and valuable when it came to my art. Now, I say this as a beginner self-learning artist who is in the midst of learning fundamentals, but even with my short experience, I found that there are valuable lessons to be had, along with looking to your art journey with a different lens. I want to start with a personal story, where I was sitting in a mental hole, where my mind was cycling through so many negative thoughts about my current progression. Specifically, I disliked how I can imagine what I want to create, but can't seem to make what I just thought about, or I thought that I should have progressed faster than I am now, and that I sucked in general. Looking back on this, man, was I negative, and so I needed to change this mindset. So what I did was I went to the root of my relationship with myself and my art. I looked to books, videos, and meditation to hush that negative chit-chat racing through my head. And so intentionally slowing down helped to lower my frustration and the need to go so fast all the time. Enjoy where you are now. It can be a learning process to just enjoy where you are now. There is nothing wrong with enjoying the task before you. The time will pass either way, and there was a reason why you wanted to create in the first place. We see little change when we go day to day, but trusting and accepting this is the reality of progressing through art. I also thought that I had to become a pro or a master in order to enjoy my art, but I see how flawed that is. Now, while it is definitely not where I would like it to be, there is also nothing wrong with just enjoying putting down lines or shading, or just to simply enjoy creating or practicing. It takes a long time to get good. If you are an average Joe like me, there are so many fundamentals, and it takes a lot of time to just learn and practice each one individually and combining them all. And even so, it is a lifelong endeavor. Even when you get to a good skill level, there is no speed running when it comes to art. It is a slow burn. Give the worthwhile things the time it needs. In the book, I Didn't Do the Thing Today, there is a sentence that reads, "We must be willing to work at the worthwhile things for a long time, and often without the perks of instant gratification. In doing so, we become more familiar both with the length of time it takes to do the things that are worthwhile and with how everything has its own pace." Progression in art is slow, since you have to practice to get better. So enjoy the pace, whether it be quick one day or slow another. This is the nature of the craft. Oftentimes, in the past, I misjudged how long I took to finish a tutorial or read through a new concept or practice a pose. This was a rush pace for me and made me frustrated every single time, only until I adjusted how much time I allotted to each task and gave myself more time did I see a marked difference in how satisfied I felt after the time had passed. Acceptance of reality. We are bombarded with short-form content and can't seem to get enough of it, which makes for a hurried pace in our daily lives. Maybe we're waiting for our coffee to brew or waiting in line at the grocery store. Oftentimes in the past, my attitude leans more towards annoyance and I just get impatient. From what I've experienced so far, this does damper my mood when the event had occurred, because I'm just thinking, well, I'm wasting time waiting instead of drawing. But the thing is, this mindset of thinking that I'm wasting away precious time was hindering me mentally. So, instead of thinking this way, I use that time spent in traffic or waiting in general to just enjoy the experience around me. Because more often than not, we don't have perfect days where we cross everything off our checklist and everything happening the way we want it to. There are distractions, accidents, hiccups, etc. that occurs, and the way I went about it is accepting this variety in my days. And when I allowed room for it in my days, did I feel a weight was lifted off my shoulders. Practice slowing down. Next time you go to practice, maybe give yourself extra time or break down that task further and focus on one portion of that task. Say you want to get better at drawing heads, for example, and you plan on taking up a challenge where you draw 5 heads a day for 30 days. However, you know you're a beginner and you might need to look up some methods to approach drawing the head. And it's okay to give yourself a test run before, where you time how long it takes to finish one head without rushing. Say you finish one in 20 minutes, so you give yourself 45 minutes to work on 2 heads, with a break after, and so on and so forth. I think this method is far better than just giving yourself a time limit that doesn't account for various factors in your life. I know I made this mistake in the past and always was playing catch up when I didn't finish. I also like to think it helps track your progress over time, where you can slowly get faster and faster at drawing something. I always light up when I come across videos on YouTube talking about slow living or just anything in regards to going slowly. So it was a joy just to express my thoughts around slowing down, especially around art. Perhaps it has to do with the contrast of having everything a tap away. Who knows? Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this thoughtful video and hopefully it served as a gateway to further reflections.